Three sisters with stories to tell. Books in our hands, we know them well. Flipping pages where dreams dwell. Chapter one, here you go. Turn the light, let the words flow. Laughs and love in every show. Books, sweethearts, we grow.
Settled. All right, welcome back to episode 2 of Throne of the Fallen, our fastest turnaround recording yet.
Next day for the section.
Next day, 2 days in a row we're recording.
Bam,
So
you're welcome.
There's a lot of pressure for some of us.
I have a rapid recap prepared, and since I wrote it, I'm gonna read it.
Nice.
The rapid recap. We were introduced to our MMC and FMC, MV, Prince of Sin, and Camilla Antonius, artist with a complicated history. Envy's part of a game initiated by Linux, a Fae King. Winning will lift a curse on his court. Camilla has been forced into a blackmail situation by Lex the Hex to create forged art pieces. He's holding one over her head. Envy needs a painting of a hex throne, and Camilla has to be the one that does it. And he has to get this to continue in his very important game. At the same time, Camilla is trying to free herself from Hex the Vex, and she gets an opportunity at his party that he throws in this kind of a London society-esque feel storyline and setting. At his party, she gets an opportunity to try and take this forgery back that he's holding over her head.
Love it.
About sum it up.
That was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was good. All right. So this section today, we're covering chapters 7 through 17.
Yes.
Still holding my attention thus far.
Oh, yeah. I didn't want
So-
to put it down last night. I looked down and I was like, oh, I have to be up so soon now. It really wasn't that soon, but it was too soon.
Yeah,
And actually, nobody has annoyed me in this book yet, which is
That's
really
impressive.
surprising.
that is impressive.
Okay, going to take it away, Ashley. Take it away, Aaron.
I was literally thinking that in my brain as soon as you said that. Okay,
You're welcome.
so chapter 7, there's a lot going on, but not a lot going on. So we ended chapter 6 with Camilla kind of just running out of the room as soon as Bexley dismissed everybody and told the ladies to go to a different room while the men smoked cigars. And Envy was waylaid by Kitty, or Catherine. I actually love that her nickname is Kitty.
I
it's
almost
super
said
cute.
something inappropriate, but we're early in the recording, so
I'm sure that comes
That's
later.
all.
And so we jump into chapter 7, and Camilla is definitely on her way to try and search for this painting. And she's trying to basically run up the stairs as people are coming in behind her. And she's like, can't stop now. Got to get around here before anybody notices me. And she searches every single room upstairs. She's in the bathroom. She's looking for hidden compartments and all kinds of hullabaloo. And she does feel like by the second guest room, she does feel like somebody's watching her. And she even like kind of like hides in the shadows for a second and stops moving to see if she can see anybody. And she doesn't see anybody, but she's like, I'm sure I'm being watched. I just don't know how or by whom.
The thing with the
And-
trusting the instincts that humans don't have.
Yeah. And so she finally gets to the last room, which is Vexley's bedchamber. And it takes her a second to go in because she's like, I swore I would never like step foot in this room, but I have no other choice. Like I have searched this place high and low. And so she goes in and she leaves the door cracked a little bit so she can hear if anybody's coming up the stairs. And lo and behold, she looks up and he has mounted this painting directly above his bed.
What a
Like,
loser.
Prideful
seriously.
fucking jackass. Like,
And
And I can't decide if
oh,
it's
I said
because
it. I'm sorry.
he wants her or What, like, if it's something to do with this painting?
I feel
It
like
makes him look very fancy. Like, that is a highly envied painting, and it's not
Yeah.
likely that very many people will, like, that pretty much anybody's going to notice the forgery. So it makes him look very fancy. But, like, to put that there when you know she wants it so back so badly,
yeah.
bold, dumb, bold.
So she decides like she's got to get it now, and he actually has his little fireplace burning. So she's like, I'm gonna grab it and throw it in the fire. And even if I get caught midway, like it'll still be destroyed enough where he won't want to display it anymore. So she climbs up on the bed, is standing up there, and goes to grab the painting, and she hears someone creak behind her, and she kind of just like freezes. Like she doesn't move, she doesn't look behind her, she doesn't say anything. She's just kind of like listening. But she knows that she left the door cracked and she didn't hear anybody open the door, nothing. She just hears this one tiny little crack. And all of a sudden she's like, no, I can like feel somebody is in this room with me. And lo and behold, we roll in to the very end, and of course it's Envy.
Please don't stop on my account.
Yes.
I like how whenever she saw it, she says, Vexley, you plum fool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something about like different society words that they use that I'm like, what does plum even mean?
Well,
Yeah.
and she even like quips at the beginning before she goes into his room, like, there's no way that's where he would put it. He specifically stated that no one can see it. Like, there's
It's
no
hidden
way it could be in
away.
his
You'll
room.
never find it.
Yeah.
She did swear
Joke's
she'd
on
never be in
her.
his bedchambers. So, as she
Yep.
mentioned, breaking her rules there.
And
And she
so
expected to find like full debauchery going on in there. And it was just like a tiny little bed with her
Yeah.
painting over the top. No penises anywhere.
Yeah, no penises in this one. There was in the study. I did
No,
skip the
maybe-
penis in
details
the
of the
study.
rooms, but
Maybe weirdly, the bedroom's the only place he doesn't do anything.
That makes sense. Keep his sleeping sheets clean.
Yeah.
okay. So chapter 8, it is definitely Envy, and she kind of, whips around and is like, what are you doing in here? And he's kind of playing back on it like, well, what did he say?
I'm rather interested to see what comes next.
He's like watching the show, enjoying. Oh, no,
And-
don't stop on my account. What's happening here?
Right.
Let me check it out.
She tries to play it off that Vexley wanted her to take the painting and get it cleaned. And so she was just going to go ahead and grab it while she was at his place. And he's like, totally not buying it. He doesn't know that it's a forgery. He doesn't know anything about it, but he's definitely not buying it. And she can tell, and she gets kind of like annoyed again. And she's like, what are you even like? Why are you here? And he was like, oh yeah, I'm here for our agreement, them going back to her gallery. And he said, he talked about like, yeah, I wanted to get here before your tryst with them.
Yeah, he said, I came to intercept before you disrobe for your tryst.
Which she
She's
is
like,
exceptionally
ew.
offended by.
Yeah, ew. No, I would not.
Yes. And like when she's going through her internal monologue, she's like, I just don't understand how he even got in here without me hearing him. He didn't make a sound when he opened the door, when he came in, and the door is now closed. And she's like, this is just like, I don't understand. So, and then he teases her about and tells her basically that he was the one that was watching her. He wanted to keep watching her and see what happened after he watched her search all the other rooms. So clearly her instincts were accurate. I haven't figured out if he was cloaking himself because it would require
I bet
power, but
further things make it indicative that he can do
Right.
that,
He
at
can-
least.
we know he can do it later on, but like he's also trying to like hoard power for the game. So it's like, what's happening?
Does this put him
But-
in Shadow Daddy status,
Hmm.
Hannah?
I don't know what that means.
I was gonna say she
Shadow
might have-
Daddy, like
she might have understood.
Zayden Zayden's a shadow daddy. He wields shadows. Shadow daddy. Rhysand's a shadow daddy. He wields shadows. You don't know
I
the phrase?
see.
Okay, I will
And it's like, I'm too tired
fill
to
you in
have
later.
any
No,
nonsense.
sorry. Yeah.
He's like, imagine how surprised I was to find you stealing the famous seduction of Evelyn Gray. That's naughty. That's where we were. Now stop interrupting.
You're fine. But essentially he ends up moving up to stand on the bed right beside her, but then gets all up in her space. And of course he's trying to like tease her. And because he's already decided he's going to try and seduce her for his second attempt to get this painting. So he's trying to make her very uncomfortable, but in a very sexy, kind of mysterious way. But she ends up falling off the bed, and he flips her and like lands, like he catches her and she lands on top of him. And her dress rips, which I wasn't really sure at first when they described how it ripped. It sounded like her breasts were like hanging out, but I think it just like ripped right on the side where
On
you
the
can
side
see
is
just
how I pictured
enough
it.
of the lace. But it ripped
Before the
enough that there
fall,
was
he
no
put his
hiding it.
thumb in her mouth.
Oh, I skipped that part.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
She
Seductive
definitely
thumbs.
sucked on his thumb.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, her lingerie is now exposed to an extent that like she can't tuck it in somewhere, like the dress that's ripped. She can't tuck it in and like fake everything's fine. So it's significant enough. And then she realizes that she's actually straddling him, and she's definitely not mad about it, to say the least. The PG version. And he's like, "Oh, don't you think you might want to get up?" And she's like kind of confused at first, and then she kind of scoots back and realizes that he is definitely also not mad that she is straddling him.
She made the worst move scooting back. Like, just stand up from where
That
you
is
are, madam.
never the move in an awkward
Oh my
situation.
gosh.
Like, just
Move
stand
your
straight
body.
up. Yes. And all of a sudden she hears Vex kind of call out from, I guess, really kind of at the top of the stairs, like, "Who's up here?" And he's very drunk. And she's like, "Holy shit balls." Like, we're in a very compromising situation. My dress is ripped. It looks like we easily could have been in the middle of something, and knowing how Vexley is, he would absolutely just say something like, "Oh, I caught them in the middle of the act," or something to the effect, and just ruin her for all society and all life. And she gets up and she's trying to find an escape, and she realizes like this man doesn't even have a closet. Like, it's 4 walls, no doors, like it's a box. Yeah. So she's panicking, she's trying to find somewhere to hide or some way to escape, and it's just not happening. And she goes over to the window, and they're on the 2nd floor, and there's nothing to cushion her blow. If she even like thinks about, "Oh, well, if we were slightly lower, I would just throw myself out this window with the painting." But they're too far, and she looks around, and Envy's just like chill, so just unbothered by what's going on. And she's like, "Why are you not doing anything? Like, we have to find a way out of here. I'm gonna be ruined." And then all of a sudden she just kind of like calls out, "The forgery!" Like, she had completely forgotten about it. And then she forgot that she wasn't supposed to tell him it's a forgery.
Forgery.
Like, she's in total panic mode, just freaking out.
That kind of tells you like he's an art connoisseur and he didn't catch that immediately, that it was a forgery. He said it's the famed whatchamacallit of Evelyn Gray.
Mhm.
Just saying. It's pretty
I
good.
agree.
Actually, on the FaceTime, you were an arrow. There you are.
Actually, both of you guys went to an arrow too for a second, and then like popped back up. I don't know. Okay. So she calls out for this forgery, and she's like, "Oh my God." So she runs back to the bed and tries to swipe it from the wall, and now it won't move, like will not budge. And she's like, "How the hell did he get this on the wall? Like, how did he secure it to the wall?" And then she's like,
Like,
I swear
it
I
moved a
just
little
moved
bit
it.
ago.
Yeah. But now it's like stuck. And Vexley is now basically at the door. And he's jiggling the handle, but it is magically locked, which she points out that Envy must have like a magic skeleton key that works on all doors.
He actually held it up and showed her.
Yeah.
He's like showing her, I have this skeleton key.
Which is curious because I thought skeleton keys only worked in the house that it was made for, but maybe not.
I don't
I
know.
need to brush up on my skeleton key.
That's her assumption of what it is.
Or, yeah. And so when Bexley realizes his bedchamber is locked, he's like absolutely freaking out, banging on the door. And so, of course, that ramps up her panic even more. And Envy goes to the window, like, okay, well, let's go. And puts his hand out. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, we're not jumping out the window. And he keeps telling her, like, he's going to break through that door any minute. Like, it's this or you're going to be ruined. So, which is it? And she finally is like, okay, I guess I'm going to have to leave the forgery and hope that it's not like the biggest mistake of my life.
She has this threat that she's going to be trapped in a marriage with one of these guys this
Mhm.
whole time, just hanging over her head. Like, if I am caught in this situation, I'm going to have to marry somebody. And I don't want to marry somebody. I think we pretty much covered it. I was trying to follow and see if there was anything that was significant.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, because she's like, "Why are you helping me?" And he twists it like she's basically a means to an end. Like he needs something from her, so he's helping her instead of just being intrigued by her as
Yeah,
he
this
is.
is not for you. I'm not a good guy.
Yeah.
Not the saint here. When I chuckled at this part, and this is the last thing I'll say, is like when she's worried that Vex is gonna walk in and she's like telling him he should be worried if he can't get that, like, looks down that situation under control.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, this woman. I like her.
All right.
Wake up.
Okay. So, is the recording? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So, chapter 9. It's actually super quick. They do jump out the window, but they don't jump to the ground. They're actually on the roof. And turns out she is absolutely petrified. Like she is shaking. And at first she has her eyes closed. Like who walks across a roof scared to fall with their eyes closed? Like that. I don't know about that one. So Envy's trying to get her to stop freaking out. And like, he's like, you have to open your eyes. Like you don't want to fall. And it's only getting worse. Like there's no reason to it. She's in shock and she's like freaking out. So he ends up just picking her up and she like shoves her face in his neck and is like clinging for dear life. And so he decides to just jump off the roof and use a little of his magic, but hopefully not make it noticeable to her that he did it. And so they jump down and then they landed very softly, but she definitely kind of like jarred a little bit. And he's like, we're on the ground. You can, get down now. And they're kind of bantering a little bit. And all of a sudden he feels something kind of like a blade between his shoulder blades. And so he has to like whip around and turns out that it's Catherine. And
What a good friend.
she is a good friend. Like where she came from, no clue. Like even Envy didn't sense her. And she has taken off her high-heeled shoe and is using it as a weapon. And she calls him a scoundrel.
Unhand my
Like-
friend at once, you scoundrel. And she's like leaping from a bush with her shoe.
Like,
Not very
where
high
the hell
society
she
lady.
came from is like beyond me.
I
But
honestly was thinking she knew somehow that she was trying
Yeah.
to steal and was like sitting on guard outside
Yeah,
of the
I
window.
think she told her something too, because she
Yeah.
also distracted
True.
him.
Yes.
So
True.
signs point in that direction for sure.
yeah. And essentially she's just making sure her friend isn't going to be absconded with and ruined for all of society. And eventually Camilla's like, no, it's fine. He's actually like, he's helping me. My dress ripped. Like, we're gonna like leave now. And she's like, no, you can just come with me and my husband. And Envy is not having it. He like literally get out of the way, basically. And she eventually decides that, okay, maybe her friend isn't actually in danger, and she lets them pass, and they kind of rush off to his carriage to escape. And that's all that really happened in that chapter.
Two things. He decides to call her pet. No, thank you. And
Oh,
he tries to call her kitty. No, thank you. Actually, three things. I'm really curious if we're gonna learn more about her like super extreme reaction to that, like that fear. That has to be tied to some traumatic
Something.
experience. Like, because it like
Yeah.
couldn't have been that big of a deal to be on the roof and be afraid of getting caught.
I was
Right?
going to point that out too, because he asks her, is it the height or the fear of being caught? And she says both. And he says his magic detected a lie, but he couldn't dwell on it.
Mm-hmm. And like her reaction was extreme even for human fear, but he didn't have time to puzzle it out too.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and
that
if she were that terrified of heights, she wouldn't have been at the window like that. And even like saying if she were just slightly, a little bit closer to the ground, she would just jump out the window.
Yeah.
very interesting reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other thing is just that once Catherine decided to not be a attack dog, was he a potential loyal companion? Got to keep that out there. Make sure she secures a loyal companion. That's all I had.
Yeah. She's definitely a good friend for
yeah.
sure.
Anybody who'll pull their shoe off and threaten a big, scary man with it.
With no
solid.
context.
No.
Yeah.
Unhand her, you fool.
I did enjoy that a little bit when she called him a scoundrel.
Me too.
Okay. Anything else before we move on to my last chapter?
I don't think so.
All right. So chapter 10 is interesting to say the
Sorry.
least. So they're in the carriage, and to say that it is an awkward ride is an understatement. They say like two things to each other, which includes her telling him where to go to get to her house. But she does at least give him credit for not trying to make her go to this whole gallery show thing that he wanted to do. And just as she's thinking like, well, at least he didn't bring up the whole forgery thing, like maybe he's gonna let it go, or maybe he really wasn't paying that much attention. He basically reads her face and is like, I'm not gonna tell anybody, but you have to answer two questions honestly, and I'll know if you lie. And he asks her if Vexley is blackmailing her, and she says yes. And then he asks if he asked her to paint something else for him, essentially trying to figure out if maybe he is a player for sure, because right now he only suspects it. And she said that yes, he did, which she doesn't go into any details on it, but for all we know, it could have been, another forgery that he was requesting, not necessarily anything about a hexed object like his is. And so they're
in all the meanwhile, he's like messing with her, obviously reading her mind, answering her. And she's like, are you reading my mind? No, I can read your face. Okay.
Yeah. Which might be true. We can typically read Hannah's thoughts through her face. It's a possibility.
This is a little extreme on his end. Bless you.
So they pull up a house down from hers as she requested, and she's about to get out of the carriage. She's like, thanks for taking me home. Appreciate it. And as she has her hand on the door to open it, he pulls her into his lap really quickly and is like, there's a man standing outside your door or outside of your house. And she's like trying to peek through the little curtained window. And it takes her a minute to finally see, like, he has to tell her, oh, he's across the street over there on like the east side or west side, whatever. And she finally notices like a shadow of somebody. And she's like, how the hell did he notice that like so quickly? And so she decides to share one more secret. Like, I mean, he already knows about the forgery, so why not? And she tells him to have the carriage driver continue down the street and she'll give him directions so that they can get in. They can get to the house a different way.
So she doesn't end up in the satire sheets with Angel of Art succumbs to sin with a Y.
Yes. Because she did contemplate like, oh, well, maybe I could just get out and say it was Catherine's. But then she remembered he logoed his carriage Sin, which I didn't think that was the thing back in the day. People logoing
Their version of
carriages.
like custom license plates.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so they're going up the street and she realizes that she's still sitting in his lap and she goes to like shift and he makes no move to make her get out of his lap. So she just hangs out. She's like, okay. Well, so she gives them directions and basically they're on the street behind her townhouse. And turns out that her father purchased another building and made it look like a house 10 years ago, which I think it said 1 week before her mom disappeared / ran away to travel the world or whatever the excuse was. And he renovated it into a house filled with secrets, is how she kind of describes it. And there is a secret way to get into this place. So from the outside, it just looks like a regular house, but she has the carriage driver like pull this outside light down, and it actually opens the building enough where the entire carriage can go inside of the building and hide it. And she says that her dad, toward the end of his ailment, whatever it was obsessed with doors, portals, entryways, and passages, and became his greatest source of inspiration. Yeah. So I feel like there's definitely more. There's
Daddy
more.
Dearest has some secrets.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, and it coming a week after her mom leaving,
Before.
Yeah, why did he do this?
and we
That
soon
means
find out.
she was swept away, not stolen. I mean, she was swept away. She didn't disappear, is what I think.
Well, I had
I
a
think
stolen.
she went through one of the doors.
Yeah, I think she would
Yeah.
either intentionally or unintentionally. I think she
Yeah.
is in the Fey realms.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Both of them
Um,
potentially.
Yeah.
Mhm. So it's a 3-story building. The top was his basically his gallery, but only he and her had ever even been in there. So she's the only one living in this current realm that has ever even been inside. And the second floor was like his studio essentially, with that very first floor looking like a barn. Like there's hay, there's, broken carriage wheels and stuff like that. So they get out of the carriage and she's very much trying to just straight up dismiss him. She's like, oh, yeah, just, have the carriage driver do this and you can drive out that way. And he was like, yeah, no. And she goes to move this broken carriage wheel, which opens a secret door into a passageway. And as soon as he kind of sees the passageway open, he's like, no, we have business to discuss. And then just walks straight through the hidden doorway into this passageway, leaving her no choice.
Funny interaction. No, I'm not gonna walk through this street. Walk down the street. I'm going through the secret tunnel naturally. Trapdoors, all good stuff.
Yes, very interesting.
I can't even picture it. Usually I can picture these kinds of things, and I'm like, I feel like it's discombobulated. I don't know. It'd be
Oh, I
interesting to see
definitely
it.
have a picture of it in my head as to if it matches the author's picture in her head when she wrote it. Unknown.
I go.
All right. Sorry, I'm super coffee. There's something stuck in my throat. All right.
Yeah, I'm feeling it today.
Who just yawned? Who did
That
that?
was me.
I didn't even see it.
Oh, no. I'm starting to see one.
That's how powerful I am.
All right, chapter 11. They are, walking through the tunnels. Envy's taking it all in. He mentions he feels a ward in the tunnel. So kind of going back to our conversation, how, there's definitely some secrets down there and potentially some other realms or access to them. And he's assuming that Camila has no clue like what all of this really is. He's daydreaming and keeps appreciating her lingerie that's peeping through.
Because it's really nice lace. That's why he likes it. Very beautiful, beautiful crafted lace.
He ends up asking her about the hex painting again, and if anybody else has asked her to paint a hex object, which she says that they have not, and demands again that she hasn't painted one, she won't paint one. She's very strong on that. He ends up pushing her against the wall, stopping them from walking anymore. He's, again trying to be seductive this time around, and he's pushing her again about the painting. Both of them are reacting to each other more than they want to be. So they're both very much like, oh, I'm not interested, but their body is not saying that. He mentions, he threatens to just take her against the wall, first of all. And then he mentions, like in that moment, he mentions we could have like an arrangement, essentially for his sex for the painting. Which immediately she just goes cold and is turned off, and she's just like, you can leave. I'm good from here. And she walks off and leaves him standing there.
A little quid pro what will work for her. Yeah, he got a little down and dirty there for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she's 100% into it too. Like he even,
Yeah.
I know he thinks about it, but I can't remember. I think he might even bring it up to her where he's like, basically being like, so you do like it a little bit darker.
Yeah, he definitely contradicted himself though with his like, I'm a gentleman, like I'm not like him. That's like something that Bexley would have said to her though. Like that kind of like, if you do this, then
Mm-hmm.
get you off the hook or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
When he does get like super irritated when she says,
Yes.
there will be no arrangement of any sort between us, my lord. I'd sooner rather make a deal with the king of demons himself, which is his brother, Wrath. And he's like, he's like hell she will.
Yeah, he gets like irrationally jealous.
Yeah. He's like, Camilla is his until the game ends, and he was not known to share, which definitely comes up later too.
Nice. He took that turn of phrase rather seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So chapter 12, we are in her gallery. She's, thinking about all the events. She's struggling to paint, just because her restless night's sleep.
Hot and bothered.
Yes. She's like, she came super bright and early. She wanted to paint. She's like painting herself in the bathtub. And she mentions in that little section, missing her routine and not putting her locket on, which I found interesting.
She forgot to take it off when she was sleeping.
Okay.
Or when she was painting. I guess she usually takes it off while she's painting.
Okay, I see. I thought she didn't put it back on. Okay, well, either way, she does mention
Yeah, the locket's
the
important.
locket. Yeah. She's remembering that she had received a note earlier that week for another hex painting, even though she told him no. she had forgotten, said it was like this mysterious note that just showed up, and she just threw it away and didn't think about it again. So somebody is on the mission as well. She starts thinking about the night before and how Sin offering to bargain for her made her feel, angry, but also very lonely. Um, and then Vex barges into the shop,
This
and
asshole.
he's, angry, and like grabs her by the throat and is like accusing her of stealing the forgery and giving it to Sin specifically,
While
which
he was
she,
asleep,
yeah,
of all
Oh,
things.
she does. He thinks she has it, right?
yeah. Well, she thinks she gave it to Sin.
What?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
asked, like, did you give it to basically that
okay.
asshole?
Oh, I was like, what are y'all talking about? I thought you were saying she did give it to him. Like, what? No.
No, he's accusing her.
Yeah.
His initial accusation is she stole
you
it
give
and
it to
gave
him?
it to him.
Yeah.
Like there was no separation of the two. It was all one thing.
I feel like that's an indication or something about the game too. Like that
Right.
makes me think, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Me as well. Like he already knows there's a tie there. She's, just like he's never been physically threatening or harming towards her. So she's a little taken aback by that, obviously. But she does say, like, before that even happened, how she knew, like, if she ran, he was angry enough to chase after her. So he definitely came in with a fury. So she's obviously upset that someone could have the forgery, and is questioning him, like, are you sure you weren't too drunk? Are you sure you didn't misplace it? Like, all of these things. He's obviously insisting, like, no, I know exactly where it was. I looked at it right before I went to bed. He ends up threatening Catherine to the gossip pages. So definitely he's just losing it. She's insisting she didn't take it and there was no correlation. He's trying to say, like, her leaving early, and then Sin had also left early. This was like the connection he is saying he made between the two. And she's just like, okay, because I went home early, like, why would that mean I stole your painting? Um, so he's just like, if you're working with him, there's going to be hell to pay, and demands she deliver the painting by the end of the week. Another customer had come into the gallery. So he's just like making innuendos, basically, like, oh, this paint I love this red, it looks like blood, and like trying to threaten her in a way that he can do in front of other people. And then he just like completely switches his demeanor and is like having a conversation with this person, like nothing happened.
Psycho.
Yeah.
He was just a columnist looking for like some drama to write about. Right?
Yeah. So she's like, I really don't know Vex at this point. Like, I didn't realize, like, he had this darkness in him. And then she's going down, like, he's a frequent visitor of the dark market, which then she tells us that she's only been to a couple of times, two of which, or that it's, bad. Once her dad started going down there, that's kind of when he started becoming frantic. And she says she went 2 times after he passed, which is, we learn, is where she met the hunter. Dun, dun, dun.
Whose name was Wolf.
Whose name was Wolf. And she, goes there one night, hooks up with the hunter, and then goes back another time to tell him not to talk about it because she's like, I don't want to be shunned. This is obviously disgraceful. And he's like, okay, but I'll be back. So interesting little nugget for us there.
Yeah. So wild. Like I do not remember reading that. Like I
Really?
remember her remembering her tryst with him back then and like comparing the desire with how much she likes Envy, but
It's very short. Where like that whole
It was like one little paragraph.
Yeah.
I must have been speed reading too
Yeah.
quickly.
Or you heard the word wolf and didn't think that's the hunter. You know, like, oh, it's a wolf. Cool.
This
Move
is
on with my life.
true.
But yeah, so he's definitely going to be a character that comes back into play somehow. The only man she's ever slept with in the dark market. How random for her. Like, that's not what you would expect.
Yeah.
Wolf seems like the name of someone who could be an animal shifter, as aforementioned in this book.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely
I read
not
another book
of the
where there was a
human
hunter named
type.
Wolf. How are these ladies? They're crossing their ideas. Crazy.
So yeah, the hunter will be back. So we will see him again. She, snaps back out of that and she's sure Sin's the one that took the painting. She doesn't know how or when. But she leaves the gallery immediately to catch a carriage. She notices that someone's watching her or watching the gallery. And then he disappears before she can see any distinguishing factor. So she doesn't know anything about it, just that there's a strange
She
man.
definitely thinks it's Bexley that
Yeah.
hired the guy, but I'm pretty sure it's Envy.
Well, like,
Yeah, or
she
both. Who
mentions
knows?
the
Like,
only
either
thing she like
ideas.
calls out about this guy is that he had on leather gloves that gave her pause. So I wonder if there's like a group of people that like wears leather gloves to, I don't know.
I mean, it's back in the
Yeah.
day. Leprosy was real.
Anything to add for that one?
I don't think so.
No.
Man, him putting his hand on her throat though.
Yeah. That's what I was talking about too, like him putting the painting above his bed. Like, I think there's a way bigger meaning to this painting than just, I think it's like
Yeah.
he put it there so he's protecting it. Like, nobody's going to come steal it while he's sleeping.
Well,
Maybe he has something hidden in it or something.
Yeah. Maybe it's
at the
a realm.
end, at the very end of your section, Christy, like I have a theory, but like we need to play out the whole section before I
Okay.
give my theory.
Okay.
Well, then moving on.
Question though, real quick. Fisticuffs. The words
Yeah.
in here crack me up. So is that like rough, like scandalous, rough stuff? Fisticuffs? Did you notice
What
that
did
word?
you say?
So I noticed
It's
that
like
word, but
she's like, I haven't heard any rumors of his being involved in fisticuffs. When she's talking about Vexley being not like her not knowing she's being violent. I have to
I
look
did
that
not
up.
catch that.
I took that as like handcuffs, like he got arrested, like or that like fisting, like fighting.
No. Oh, okay.
Not that kind of fisting. What?
Fisticuffs. Anyways, we can
Yeah.
scrub that out.
So chapter 13.
Anywho.
We jump back to MV's perspective. He is marveling at the forgery that he stole last night. He mentions he also only has one more time now to get Camila to agree to do the painting because now she's rejected him twice, which is why he stole it in the first place. He admits to using his magic to secure it to the wall so she could not take it, so that he was then able to take it and have this bargaining chip. So definitely smart on his part, but his brother Lust shows up and they have a little banter. Sounds like all of them gossip quite a bit. He's like, "Oh, you must have found me from Pride." He's, I actually was like this whole chain of his brothers, and that's how he knew where to come today, I guess. So I thought that was kind of funny. He questions, "Is it true that the artist castrated you?" And he like just makes a jokingly remark back, like I'm still the most well endowed of all of the brothers or something along those lines. So they have a funny banter. So far, we haven't seen like there's no like power struggle between all of them.
No.
So, he mentions he's staying for the masquerade and he was offended that he did not get invited. And then in that moment, Alexi and Cam barge in. And Cam's clearly running the show.
I
She's
was like, we call her Cam. Where did
I
this
know.
come from?
I was like, who's Cam?
I was like, who?
oh, sorry, Camila.
No, you're fine. You can call her Cam if you want. I just was not expecting it.
Same.
Oh, you stopped typing Camila.
I don't blame you.
So she's clearly running the show, and he's like, sorry, boss, I couldn't control. And he's like, if you can't control this 5'2" girl, then you don't deserve your position. And she's like,
Mhm.
it's fine. I threatened to beat him up pretty much.
And bite him.
Yeah, and bite it. She said, assault his groin and bite him if she didn't get through, which is funny because Alexi's a vampire,
Yeah.
but she does not know that. Les says something, and she's like, and who are you? And
She's like on a roll. Like she's on
Yeah.
a royal terror.
She's fired up.
And he introduced himself as Envy's brother, and they're sharing intriguing looks back because she's not, again, like swayed by their power at all.
Interesting.
Yes. Which is why I actually wrote about the locket, because I was thinking she didn't have the locket on. I was like, okay, so it can't be the locket protecting her. Maybe
It could be something that wards her against like influence.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
wouldn't he have recognized the magic already? Because he felt the ward in
Ward.
the
Maybe
in
it's
the
something
little tunnel.
else though. You know, like something
No, yeah.
other.
Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
Could be a million things. Yeah. So she's also not swayed by their powers, which is intriguing to them. She demands a private meeting with Sin, so the others leave without hesitation. And she's immediately like, where's the forgery? And he makes some type of comment, like, oh, don't worry about it, or you're fine. And
I
he,
assume you mean the seduction of Evelyn Gray.
yeah.
Like
When she lets him know that Vexa came to her, and threatened her with physical harm, which upsets him immensely. To like, he's going back and forth, like wanting to kill him, and she's like protesting that, and he's like, why won't you just let me kill him? What a conversation for the third time you're meeting somebody.
Yeah.
And she's, lying about something he's unsure about, but she's just saying, she ends up saying, because he has something else of hers, and if he dies, so does my father.
which I feel like she didn't mean to say that.
Yeah, I feel like it was a slip of the tongue on there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Something I wanted to point out from this is when he gets his people to like constantly look into his spies or whatever. He was talking about how he hadn't seen any ruins or a portal key notch in the tunnels, but there could still be one hidden. And talked about portal keys, that they're only gifted by two species that Envy knew of. Fae, primarily of the unseelie royalty, which we'll learn a little bit more. They rule over the dark court. And very powerful shapeshifters like werewolves.
wolves.
But anyways, that when he like starts thinking that way, he decides that he's going to go visit the dark market to kind of figure it out, see if what he can find out. Love how she entered though. She came in like a friggin' hot mess on fire.
Oh yeah.
And he's obviously like, drooling.
And she's like, I will bite you.
Love that.
What a statement.
Like, what a thing to
And, like,
say.
You cannot murder him. Allow me to rephrase. You will not murder him. I assure you, I can murder him. Like, I'm capable. Oh, love it. And that's the end of part 1.
Yes.
Moving on to part 2, A Deal with the Devil. Chapter 14, part 2.
Yep. A deal with the devil.
A deal with the
Jinx.
devil. Okay.
Peach poke across
So-
the country.
We start 14, Camilla immediately backtracking, like, my father's not alive. Like, and Envy's like working on calming down from his like murderous mode that he was in, ready to go like rip Bexley apart. Camilla then like enlightens him a little bit to her father's tale. Vex has something that her father treasured hidden away, and she wouldn't be able to get it back if he dies. And this item is a magical key that had to do with when he started, he obtained it, I think, around the same time that he started building the magical portals and I'm sorry, not the magic portals, but the secret entryways in the gatehouse. So Envy goes on to propose that he'll assist her in locating this key, the missing object that she's looking for. Keep the forgery and Vex. Keep the forgery safe, keep Vex on a tight leash if she agrees to paint the hex throne. And after she completes the painting, then he'll return the forgery to her and they can move on with their lives. Um, she, sneaky little girl, says, I don't have it exactly written down, but she's like, I can't paint the, I'm just gonna write down what I wrote. She can't paint the throne without giving away one of her most closely guarded secrets. Girl, like, why didn't you lead with this secret? What is going
Yeah.
on?
Mhm.
And she can tell that he's not giving their, she's asking for honesty, and she can tell he's not giving the honest truth about why he needs this painting. But she's going to consider to answer him in 2 nights at his ball.
Yeah. So I just want to add something funny. So when at the very beginning, when she's kind of trying to backtrack over like
Mm-hmm.
that'll kill my dad, he's like, how exactly does one metaphorically kill one's father? And should I believe one might have also metaphorically killed one's mother?
Mm-hmm.
Which I
Yep.
took that as like, okay, so clearly he at least sees that they could both technically be in some other realm as well.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. She took a minute to answer that one
Yeah.
and clarify that. And all the while, she's like just ripping him apart with her eyes. Like she wants to paint him. And she's like just ogling him. Girl.
It's rare that you come across somebody that hot that you just stare at him and want to paint him. So kudos for her finding this not human but being.
Yep. Anything else for chapter 14, ladies?
No, that was a quick one.
Okay. Chapter 15. It starts out kind of like, where is this going? Because Envy starts going into explaining that iron's a tool against Fae. And it turns out he's walking through the dark market. The Fae, he talks about how the Fae craft lies in tales to suit their needs. So apparently there's a myth that the Fae started that they're incapable of lying. And obviously that entraps humans into trusting their every word. So things like that. He's walking through, people are trying to sell him stuff. And he knows that he can feel the wild quartz magic, which is the unseelie kingdom that he mentioned a minute ago, where the dark Fae are. Learn a little bit more about the Fae kingdom. So you have the unseelie, which are the dark Fae, and then you have the seelie, which is the light court. So light court worships the sun, spring, summer, all things light and happy. The unseelie court worship the moon, fall and winter, and they live like kind of on the same island with an invisible boundary, east and west, separated. And then there's all these other solitary Fae that were exiled or had their own reasoning for being away, whether willing or unwilling. And then Fae time moves differently, which like this is important. I don't know how it's gonna be important. I have theories, but Fae times moves faster in as like the farther you go down. You're in the mortal realm. A few days in the mortal realm could equal a few months in the fairy, so the Faelands, and then a few days in fairy was only was only a week or two in the seven circles. You know, like that could shift. So, like, say her mom did get taken, she's going to be
Mhm.
aging a lot faster, right? If I'm reading that right, because I
I
started
thought
to
he's
confuse
backward.
myself.
I thought it was backward.
So, a few days in the mortal realm is a few months in fairy. So, the days in the mortal realm is
Okay,
a longer amount of
gotcha.
time in fairy.
Yeah.
But it's different because a few days in fairy was only a week or two in the seven circles. So it doesn't. It's not that and the jump is not as big from human to fairy as it
Yeah.
is. Like it's different. Anyways, I'm gonna digress because I'm confusing myself. Anyways, okay. The unseelie enjoy toying with humans, obviously with their darkness. And as he's walking along, he notices this emerald paintbrush from the stall. And like, I'm buying this for Camilla, obviously. And the unseelie that he buys it from, I don't even remember what he did. He called him Your Highness, and he's trying to be incognito. So he's like, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And he like has this like, I'm gonna kill you, but you're gonna give me some information. Surprisingly, this random creepo at the market had a lot of information. So he asked him first about Pierre. If Pierre had been asking around for anything in the market. And I was trying to find the exact things. Here we go.
128.
Yeah. So he had wished to know about the travel realms about 2 years ago. They told him about realm lines, and the king, not his king, he says, gave him the key. So he got everything that they had just discovered he had at that instance 2 years ago. And then he asked if Vexley had been there asking around, and Vexley had inquired about the same key. And it does mention before that there are not very many of these.
Mm-hmm.
So it has to be the same one. And he's just like sitting there pondering what would have lured Pierre to the other realms. You know, they mentioned like most people want to escape or they just want to feel like be in this fanciful world, but like what lured him? And not super important side note, but Catherine's husband is there trying to get something to get his cock Peter to lay golden eggs.
He
Which
wants his
is
money
super
back
random.
because it's not.
So random. I hope
Super
there's
random.
a reason for that later.
And
Yeah.
I'm so confused why he would think that a rooster would be laying eggs of any kind.
Right? Not smart.
Like, I
Not
don't
smart.
understand.
It is
Well,
a rooster,
and-
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cock.
Well,
Silly
it
guy.
did
Named
pop
Peter.
in my head. I hope this isn't like a long ploy that Camilla's the target and
Oh,
he
yeah.
married Catherine.
Stop. I love
Who-
Catherine.
I know.
Can't do that to her.
So one quick thing, because when he started explaining the sealy versus the unsealy,
Mm-hmm.
I remembered something that way back in chapter 12 that kind of like piqued my brain, but I couldn't quite remember. But I just found it. She actually makes a statement like in her head. It's when they're being dirty in the tunnel, and she says, actually, oh no, it was before that. Sorry. It's when Vexley was being a creep. She said if
Okay.
Vexley believed he was acting like a gentleman, then she might as well declare herself the Sealy Queen of Fairy. And I was like, that's a really oddly specific, like, I've never heard of that. So it's not like a common type thing that everyone is
Yeah.
like, oh, whatever. And then we get to this part and he's explaining that those really do exist.
Yeah.
So interesting.
It's obviously derived from, I mean, like, I guess they want you to think that it was derived from his mom's fascination with all things fairy. And then, I mean, her mom's.
Mhm.
To clear it up, the chicken was supposed to sire golden egg riches. I misspoke that the rooster was not supposed to lay them. He was supposed to sire them.
Oh, I read
Um,
it as lay them. Anyway,
yeah.
either.
Well, and that could just be tying back to the original conversation about the stupid rooster because
Yeah, I
he
think
was
it was
so
just
worried
like
about it.
filler. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like a funny
it's
little.
clearly
Yeah.
he bought it at the dark market to
Yeah.
Yeah,
give them
that's
gold.
why he's so worried about this rooster.
Yeah.
Peter. And at the end of it, Envy's just wondering more about Camilla's absent mother and how she avoided the conversation.
Nothing to add.
I am the fastest of them all. Okay, chapter 16. There's a lot of descriptors, so I can go back and go through them if you guys like. But it is the day, so the 2 days have passed, and Camilla's preparing for Envy's ball. She explains how she hasn't been able to buy new dresses. So if you know anything about that kind of society, typically the debutantes or like the single women, they're buying fancy new dresses every single year in the style that's popular. And she had to choose between keeping all of the people who have been in her life taking care of their home on staff or buying dresses. So she stopped buying dresses. And so she hasn't had a new one in a really long time, but this stunning gown shows up at her door. She explains that its skirts are ethereal layers of fluffy white tulle with silver sparkles scattering like glittering stars across the fabric. The bodice is diamonds encrusted with silver beads and downy white feathers. And she says she looks like a moon goddess, ethereal, tempting, and completely out of any mortal's reach. So, like, gets her chin up high. She also gets a silver mask, no note, but the beautiful new emerald paintbrush, which is surprising, like, perfect for her hand. Like, she describes it. It seems like it would be heavy and uncomfortable, but it like fits her like a glove. And obviously she knows that this is from Envy. Who else could it be from? Like, it's the color of his eyes. She goes into like how she escapes it through painting and how she really feels like she could travel essentially. Like, paint is in her blood instead of paint is in her veins instead of blood. Um she feels like she's actually making these new realms while she's painting. Uh, and that she can like go anywhere. So Syndon did a very good job with this cunning gift, trying to woo her into painting the Hex Throne.
It has to be her, like, non-human gift. And that
Right.
has to be why her parents were so much like, don't paint the hex painting because, like, what you paint is real.
Yeah. See that, and
Right.
that tracks too because she's worried about that and then revealing it. Yeah.
Well,
But
and
I wonder if that has to be certain things. So
maybe, but so that's my part of the theory about why Bexley is so protective of this forgery, because she painted that. So if she does have this gift of bringing, maybe she's painting like a portal or
Right.
like a
Yeah.
way, like some kind of doorway to something, and he has the key, like,
oh, yeah, that's a good theory.
then he could be going in and out or accessing something to some extent or whatever. Or maybe even like, maybe it's a hiding place, right? Like, so he can pop in and like hide his good shit and pop back out. So if she burns it, then all his shit's gone.
Yeah.
But
It goes on after that part about she's reflecting back on right before her father died and talking about how darkness won't win and that she's good and never doubt it, which is interesting because the dark markets are all darkness, right? And he was visiting them so much. Makes you wonder what he was actually trying to like obtain or what he was trying to accomplish there.
Or maybe it was he somehow knew one day darkness would come for her
Maybe.
and not that
Or-
she was darkness.
Yeah. Because I mean, maybe the same kind of painting talent
Yeah.
came from him. Okay, let's see. She goes on a little bit more about the mystery that she has, and she had hinted at, and she calls it a rare talent. Rare talent um, that insinuates the Hex Throne could appear if she actually painted it. And that anything that occurs because of that would be her fault. So she worries about the guilt she would carry if that comes to fruition. And then she left for the ball because Kat and Ed showed up to get her.
Yeah, I
No,
definitely
not Ed.
missed a couple of details of this, so this is a good review.
Well, thank you, because I was like, those were not great notes.
I'm also reading.
Yeah.
But yeah.
She again is like fully questioning why he would want the painting of the throne. It's obviously not for his personal gallery. And why would she risk giving somebody like him access to an object with the power to do unspeakably dark things?
which little does she know he actually owns the Hexed Throne.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So if
his.
he were 100% honest with her, then she would have no problem giving him the Hexed Throne.
Camilla,
since he
I
already
don't
has
need
it.
your painted throne. I just need a painting of my throne. So funny. Don't have anything else to add? Okay. Chapter 17, the last chapter of this section. Not of actually part 2, but our review section today. Envy is going through the outcome of his home's restoration, really going through the details of how beautiful everything looks. He's anxious about what Camilla is going to decide about the Hex Throne. His goal with this estate and all of the invitations, the whole ball itself, is to incite envy in the guests and feed his power so that he can make it through the game, notices Lord Gary. I couldn't read my own handwriting. He notices Lord Gary, that he's interesting, and um, what did he do? He knows a little bit about his past, that he had bad luck, and his little sister and a woman he had courted had gone missing, never seen again. And he has that connection to Lord Edwards, also frequents Silverthorn Lane. So it makes Envy suspect that he's a player. Um, as part of this whole scheme to try to uncover that, he put unseelie art depicting the unseelie all around to see whose interest it would pique. And he also mentioned that Fae like to take mortal women. So that's kind of where that ties in. He thinks Gary might be a player. So these super ornate invitations, he sent gifts to each invitee. Obviously, Camilla's was the extreme. And he goes on to say he wants to see her look like a princess and rub it in Bexley's face that she is not there for him. So little jab there. So every single thing planned out to increase his power source. He is kind of lost in thought about Camilla. And his brother Les likes to pop in at times like these and be like, "Oh, I'm going to tease you a little bit because you seem like you're a little lost and longing." And talks about, well, maybe since you're not going to do anything about it, I'll just take Camilla for my own, which makes him very angry. Like, she's not mine, but I've put a claim on her, and don't even think about that. I will stab you and send you back to your realm or whatever. While they're having their little banter, Camilla enters, and Envy describes her as a shimmering blade cutting through darkness, a princess of starlight. She meant, like, the dress, I feel like, was meant to incite that, right? She described it the same way. Vexley sweeps down and is like, "I'm getting down there right now." Sorry, Vexley doesn't sweep down. Vexley, like, comes out of nowhere and scoops her up, and he's like,
Yeah.
I set this all up. So
And his hand is on her ass
obviously,
again.
yes. So obviously, first of all, Sin or Envy has this like bad reaction and like shoots ice all across the thing and has to wipe some memories. But he gets down there and he sounds like he's really smooth about it, but just cut in, replace Bexley. The whole time he's kind of wondering if Camilla's gonna let her the mask like give her some freedom to be more sinful, like kind of hoping. They're very reactive to each other and their closeness during the dance. And they're discussing the gift he gave her and how much she loves it until the song stops and it's basically like, "Hey, so it's my turn." They do like dance cards, right? Like, people write their names on your card. You get to dance with them next. You save a dance for people. So they are going through all of that, and that, assuming that it's whatever her name was, Janelle or something.
Yeah.
What's
By
her
the
name?
white feathered
The
mask,
widow.
Janelle.
Yeah, the widow, whatever her name is, brunette. She
Janelle.
takes his desk. Okay. I was surprised that I was right. And then Les like goes over to Camilla and is like flirting with her. All the while he is just hoping Camilla is going to consider his bargain. I don't know why I feel like I missed a lot. It was a long chapter. I think I got the gist of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a
It
lot
was just
of
very
chatter.
descriptive
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I don't see that you missed anything.
He mentioned the wild court again, which is what he could smell in the dark market, and that's where Lord Carey paused. Yep, I guess I did cover everything. Do you guys have any thoughts or anything to add to it?
No, I don't think so. I loved obviously like how smooth his stealing of her was. And I'm sure we'll come back to Vexley before the party's over. I'm sure
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got something to
yeah,
say
I'm
about
sure he was
that.
definitely talking mad shit while making it look like they were enjoying the dance or whatever. So I'm curious
Yeah.
to see what that real
Yeah, we did
interaction
not get
was.
her perspective of what was going on there. So
No.
maybe we'll get that in the next chapter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if they have like fated mates in this book.
I know I've been thinking that as well, but I'm like, how would he not know? Because I feel like the man is typically the one that the girl's always not the human.
I don't know.
And
He's also sworn off mortal women for some reason, but maybe she's not mortal.
yeah, I don't know.
mean,
I don't know.
There's something
how often
obviously.
have you guys seen somebody with naturally silver hair and silver eyes? Number one, like silver eyes are typically a precursor in all fantasy novels of some kind of
Which
Yeah.
something.
No, I think we can all agree she's not human. Like her paintings can come to life.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
and
thing is, like, she's never hinted that that's happened. You know, she says it can happen, but she's like not ever said that one of her paintings did come to life. She just feels like it.
You know, they don't really talk about how her parents met or anything like that. Like, I have half a thought that maybe the mom is actually of the unseelie
Yeah.
court, which
Yeah.
lends to why he's like, you're not bad. Like, never doubt that.
Because mommy is bad.
Yeah. And then if that were the case and they raised her to fear, like, making things come out of these paintings or whatever, then she's probably never painted anything that, like, could cause issues or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting.
So yeah, we're
Very
definitely
A
interesting.
parent's manipulation is strong.
That sounded
well,
weird
yeah.
when I saw.
Well, all right then. Lots
That was
of
good.
buildings still,
Yeah.
but we're definitely getting somewhere quickly.
It pulled me in, and I was reading it on my Kindle, and it was a lot easier
Yeah.
because the book's heavy. I
Yeah.
got wrist problems.
I
I'm old.
switched over to same mobile.
Oh, no, I
well.
definitely take a throw pillow from the couch, set it in my lap, and then set my book on it.
But you know when you're like too early in the book and it will not stay open because like the one
Yes.
side's way too heavy. That was so hard to start the book because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially,
Need
like,
one
I
of
try
those
so hard
page
not to
things.
bend
Yes,
the
yes.
spine.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't
Don't
even
break a
open it
spine.
all the way.
I
Like,
don't.
no.
You break spines?
Yeah.
Oh,
if
yeah.
I need to.
Damn, girl.
I'm like, the books are supposed to look like we've been reading them.
No, they're not.
Anyways,
Yes.
join us for our next section, starting with chapter 18 to 75 pages ish. I don't remember what chapter we called out, but yeah, we'll catch you next time. Thanks for joining.
Peace. Love
Bye,
you,
sisters.
sisters.
Later.
Love ya.
Bye.